Hi, this is Visha. Welcome to Rathod Science classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 4th April 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see today's quote. So today's quote is mainly given by Swami Vivekananda. And you can prepare the quotes of Swami Vivekananda, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela. So that quotes will be very useful and that will become very handy whenever you are writing your essay or even in your mains answers in conclusion especially. You can use this quotes of these famous personalities, right? And I hope you will be preparing quotes from now onwards so that will be very helpful, because whenever you are getting some quotes and which you like the most and which you can remember easily, and if you're revising them, then what happened? So those quotes will be fixed in your mind. So when you are writing some answers regarding this education, poverty, hunger, women empowerment, so you can easily incorporate those quotes in your answers, and that will enrich the quality of your answers such that you can differentiate your answers from other persons, and at least you have to try to grab half mark or 1 mark from the examiner more, such that there will be the high chance of clearing this UPSC will be there. So the today's quote is, all power is within you. You can do anything and everything. So some people, they will be believing the luck and as well as fate. Actually, all power is present within you. So if you want to do anything and whatever you want to do, you can do. So that is based on your willpower. So the power is within you. So you can do anything and as well as everything. So this is the quote by Swami Vivekananda. And now let us try to see the first article. So our first article, which is mainly regarding this AFSPA. So actually we studied this AFSPA from I think last 3 days onwards, right? So because of this Assam Meghalaya agreement, so that led to removal of this AFSPA in some areas, right? So what happened now? There is demand from the states, especially from this northeastern India, to remove this AFSPA completely. So because of this is in news. And now let us try to see this topic. I think you might be knowing about this AFSPA. So there is no need to explain some basic facts regarding this AFSPA, because actually number of times we discuss this AFSPA in our Hindu analysis. So if you are following our Hindu analysis daily, so you might be knowing about this, what is this AFSPA. And actually this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under polity. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail, and let us try to understand each and every sentence which is given in this article. So that will be very important from your mains. So if you see the central theme of this article, it mainly says that the relaxation of this AFSPA is welcome, but the demand for full repeal should be considered. So actually what happened, there is some protest which is mainly seen from the states of this northeastern India, and they are mainly demanding for the repeal of this AFSPA, right? But recently we saw there is relaxation of this AFSPA. So whenever we want to go for full repeal of this AFSPA, so we need to consider some important issues. So if we're talking about context, it mainly says that, so there is a demand for the fully repeal of this AFSPA, that is Armed Forces Special Parts Act, from the several states in the northeast India. So this mainly seen after 13 civilians, they were killed in one district in Nagaland in December last year. So in December last year, what happened? So here this Central Armed Forces, police forces, they mistakenly fired against the mine workers, and that led to the death of this 13 people from this Nagaland. So because of this, what happened? So now there is a demand for repeal of this AFSPA, full repeal of this AFSPA. So this is the one important cause of concern, and even we can say, like, so many a times in yesterday's newspaper also we saw that 2 people, they were killed and they were mistaken as extremists. So in this way, what happened, mostly from this Central Armed Police Forces, they will be getting some information from intelligence report. So they mainly getting some information like so and so people, they are going to pass here, like extremists, like some insurgent people. So whenever they are going to that spot and whenever they are mainly starting this firing, means sometimes unfortunately here civilians, they mainly get killed in these events. Okay, so this is one of the cause of concern. So because of this protests which are mainly raised by people, mainly to remove this disturbed area status, right? And actually now recently Union Home Minister, he mainly decided to reduce the number of disturbed areas under this act in the 3 states. So because Assam and Meghalaya, they went for recent agreement, right? So because of this we can see there is some relaxation of this disturbed areas in 3 states, and this order which is mainly coming into effect from April 1st onwards. So if we're talking about those 3 states, the first one is Nagaland, second one is Assam, and third one here is Manipur. Okay, so these are the some details regarding this Nagaland, Assam and Manipur. So if you are from such a state, then you have to go through this AFSPA, because in interview you can get a questions regarding this AFSPA. If you are coming from this northeastern states, for sure it will be 100%, and you have to develop your own perspective whether it is right or not. Okay, regarding this imposition of this AFSPA, and as well as regarding disturbed areas, and as well as relaxation. So what is your opinion regarding the complete repeal of this AFSPA as well? So not only the people who are coming from this northeastern states, but even other students who are preparing for this UPSC, they need to have their own perspective regarding this repeal of this AFSPA. Okay, so these details which are important if you are coming from that state, Nagaland, Assam and Manipur. And if you see here, so government decision which is mainly came up to relax this application of this act in some specific areas, and this is the one important reason, mainly to reduce the violence. Okay, and even also for some administrative reasons. So this step which is one of the important and as well as welcome step we can say. But the popular demand which is mainly coming from these states of northeastern India, they want the complete repeal of this AFSPA. Okay, so despite the protest which is mainly coming from the security forces for retention of this act, and even many human rights organizations, even the different sections of civil society and committees, they are mainly including a 5-member committee which mainly led by Supreme Court. Okay, Supreme Court judge, that is J.P. Jeevan Reddy in 2005. So they mainly call for repeal of this AFSPA. And this committee in particular, it mainly suggested that, so this act which had created a negative impression in the people in this northeastern states. So these people, they started thinking that, so because of this imposition of this AFSPA act, so they mainly having or targeted some hostile treatment that mainly includes Unlawful Prevention of Activities Act. Okay, so this is the one important negative impression that mainly created in the people of this northeastern states. And later on, Supreme Court which mainly appointed N. Santosh Hegde committee in 2013, mainly to investigate regarding encounter killings in Manipur. Okay, and this committee which mainly suggested that act must be properly reviewed every 6 months, and we need to see whether this act which is implemented or properly or not, whether it is necessary or not, whether we can go for extension of this act or not. So we need to go for study or review every 6 months. So this is a thing which mainly said by this Santosh Hegde committee of 2013. And later on in 2016, Supreme Court has also ruled that the armed forces could not be immune from investigation for the excesses committed during this discharge of their duties, even in disturbed areas. So in 2016, Supreme Court also ruled that these armed forces could not be immune from the investigation from this excesses committed during the discharge. So these are some important things, and you have to develop your own perspective regarding this AFSPA. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding marital rape. So IPC, Indian Penal Code section 375, which mainly talks about this marital rape. So actually this marital rape which is mainly seen in news, and there are a number of debates which are mainly going on regarding this marital rape. And now let us try to see what is this Karnataka High Court verdict regarding this marital rape. So title says that a far-reaching verdict that ends this regressive exception. So actually, so this marital rape which is one of the exception, right? So now there is no exception for this marital rape. So this is a thing which mainly said by this Karnataka High Court. So this article is important from polity, which mainly comes under GS paper 2. And this topic is important from your mains point of view, not from prelims. So from prelims you cannot expect a question from this topic, but from mains you can expect a question from this marital rape for sure in your GS paper 2. So now let us try to see what is the context. So over several months, from last several months, we are seeing there are some arguments and debates which are mainly happening in this news channels regarding marital rape exceptions. So exception in which section? That is section 375 of IPC. So this section 375 of IPC, which is mainly talking about one exception, that exception is marital rape. So if you're talking about some details regarding this Karnataka High Court on March 23, 2022, in case of, in the famous case, that is Hrishikesh Sahu versus State of Karnataka. So it mainly led to the end of debate regarding this marital rape exception. So here Karnataka High Court came up with a verdict in this Hrishikesh Sahu versus State of Karnataka case, and here this judgment which mainly led to the end of marital rape exception. So here judgment which mainly says that sexual assault even by husband is rape. So sexual assault even by husband is rape, and there is not, this exception is not progressive but even regressive. That is, it will be applicable to all. Okay, there is no exception, we can see. So this sexual assault even by husband which mainly committed or which mainly amounts under this rape, and it is a regressive thing. So this is a thing which mainly said by Karnataka High Court. And now let us try to understand what is this marital rape. So marital rape, it is nothing but unwanted sexual intercourse or penetration obtained by force. So without proper willing of women. So whenever husband goes for sexual intercourse or penetration by forceful methods, then that mainly amounts under this marital rape. So whenever wife is unable to give the consent, so at that time also whenever husband went for the sexual intercourse, that will also amounts under this marital rape. So if we're talking about different sections, section 375 of IPC, what is the section 376 of IPC? So you have to be aware regarding these sections. Then only you can understand this concept of marital rape. So if we're talking about section 375 of IPC, that is Indian Penal Code, which mainly includes all form of sexual assault. Okay, so it includes all form of sexual assault involving non-consensual intercourse with women. But this section 375 which has exception, that is mainly talking about marital rape. Whenever husband who is going for intercourse with the wife over 15 years of age, so they will not come under this sexual assault under this section 375 of IPC. Okay, so there is exception of marital rape under this section 375 of Indian Penal Code. And if you're talking about this section 376 of IPC, so it mainly talks about punishment for rape. So what is the punishment? So punishment here is normally imprisonment, that is not less than 7 years, and it can also be extended to lifetime. Okay, and it can also be sometimes extended to 10 years along with fine. So the penal provisions, that is punishment, will be set by this section 376, and here sexual assault which mainly comes into this section 375 of IPC. And in this 375 section there is exception, that is marital rape. And now let us try to talk about observations of various committees and as well as high courts or Supreme Court. So we are talking about the first report, that is Justice Verma Committee report. So this Justice Verma Committee report that came up in year 2013. So this report which mainly recommended that removal of exception of this marital rape under this section 375 of IPC. And this report which mainly underscored the fact that marital rape immunity had been withdrawn in most of the foreign jurisdictions. So in many countries, in many foreign jurisdictions, there is removal of this marital rape as an exception. So in the same way in India also we can go for removal of this exception under this section 375 of IPC. So this is a thing which mainly said by this Justice Verma Committee. Okay, and even in the Supreme Court judgment, okay, in November 2017, so the division bench of Supreme Court, which mainly said that exception 2 of this section 375 IPC, which is mainly violative of Article 14, Article 15 of Indian Constitution. So this is the thing which mainly said by Supreme Court in the famous judgment in the case of Independent Thought versus Union of India in 2017. And if you're talking about Kerala High Court observations, so marital rape, it is a good ground to claim divorce. So Kerala High Court said that, so on this ground they can claim the divorce. So the law not recognizing marital rape under penal law does not inhibit the court from recognizing the same as a form of cruelty to grant the divorce. So because of this marital rape or forceful intercourse or penetration, so it is mainly also amounts to the cruelty. So because of this cruelty, they can go for granting of divorce. And the right to respect for his or her personal and mental integrity, bodily integrity, it is very important. And whenever we are going for this forceful sexual intercourse or forceful penetration, that will lead to the violation of bodily integrity, and even that will lead to the violation of individual autonomy of a person. And if you're talking about Law Commission report, you have to remember 42nd report of this Law Commission. So this 42nd report of Law Commission, which mainly recommended criminal liability should be attached to this intercourse of a man with his minor wife. Okay, and this committee which mainly refused the recommendation for the removal of this exception, because here report said that in marriages here this sex or sexual consent, which is an integral part of this marriage, right? So marriage as an institution, we can't go for removal of this exception. So this is the thing which mainly said by Law Commission report. And now let us try to talk about different provisions of our Indian Constitution, which mainly talks about bodily integrity, privacy, etc. So we are talking about part 3 of our Indian Constitution, which mainly talks about fundamental rights. Okay, fundamental rights. And this part 3 of our Indian Constitution, which mainly guarantees all citizens, irrespective of their caste, race, sex, religion, place of birth, etc., they will be providing some fundamental rights, right? And and also you have to know about rape laws in India. So these rape laws in India, they are mainly violative of Article 14 and 21 of Indian Constitution. So if we are talking about violation of Article 14 of Indian Constitution, so Article 14, which mainly talks about equality before law and equal protection of laws. And whenever there is exception under the section 375 of IPC, it clearly discriminates this Article 14, because it is very much different who are the women above the age of 15 years and the girls who are age of below 15 years. So because of this, it is mainly violating this right to equality or equality before law, right? So in this way, we can see this section 375 of IPC, which takes away women's right of choice, right? And it also deprives the bodily autonomy and as well as personhood. And next one is, it is also violative of Article 21 of Indian Constitution. So Article 21, which mainly guarantees protection of life, personal liberty, right to live in human dignity. So these are some important rights which are mainly violating. And if you're talking about famous case, that is Bodhisattva Gautam versus Shubhra Chakravarti. So in this case, Supreme Court held that rape is a crime against basic human rights, and it is also against the violation of the fundamental rights here. So in the same way, a woman who is married too has a right to live in human dignity, right to privacy, and right to cover her own body here. So marriage can in no way take away these rights. And next one is right to sexual privacy. So actually you know that the famous case of Puttaswamy versus Union of India 2017. So it mainly says that right to privacy, which mainly comes under the fundamental right and which is integral under Article 21 of Indian Constitution. Right, so whenever we are going for this forceful sexual intercourse or penetration, that will be mainly violating this right to privacy. So these are some important details that you need to remember regarding this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding groundwater. So why this groundwater is in news? So because of this year theme of World Water Day is groundwater making the invisible visible. Okay, making invisible visible. So here we need to talk about this groundwater, and we need to talk about how we are using this groundwater and what are the concerns regarding exploitation of this groundwater and what can be done. So these are some important things which are mainly highlighted in this article, and this topic is important regarding GS paper 3 under environment and ecology, and this topic is important from your prelims and mains, because especially in your NCERT geography 11th, so you will be coming across different forms of water like groundwater, surface water. In surface water we come across rivers, lakes, so and so. So in the fresh water and in the sea water, so how much percentage of water that is present. So there is one important chart that you can see in your NCERT 11th class geography. So please go through that one. That is very much related to this article. So now let us try to see here why it is in news. So the theme of this year, World Water Day, okay, World Water Day, which is celebrated on March 2022, and the theme of this year World's Water Day is groundwater making the invisible visible. So groundwater making the invisible visible. So what is the important primary focus of this theme of this World's Water Day? So here we are mainly focusing on especially role of groundwater. Okay, groundwater in sanitation systems, agriculture, industry, ecosystems, and climate change adaptation. So we are mainly focusing on importance of this groundwater in different areas like sanitation, agriculture, industry, ecosystem, climate change adaptation, etc. Why? Because groundwater can help to reduce the risk of temporary water shortage, and especially in arid and as well semi-arid areas there is low percentage of this surface water that is seen. So in that area, so we are having very little amount of the groundwater in that area. So that will mainly helps to reduce the risk of temporary needs of shortage of water in these arid and as well semi-arid areas. So we need to focus on this policy making regarding this groundwater, especially to decrease the risk of this temporary water shortage in these areas. And whenever we are depending on this groundwater, and if you see throughout the globe, there is increasing of dependence on this groundwater that is mainly seen. So because of this increasing of dependence on this groundwater, and we are going for over exploitation of this groundwater, and further that is leading to this depletion of the stored groundwater and as well as deterioration of the quality of the groundwater. So actually because of this high temperature and the drought that is seen, because of this climate change, that is mainly leading to the water insecurity or water security issues throughout the country. And even we are having some other challenges like high storage capacity, and as well as groundwater, it is more resilient to effects the effects of the climate change than the surface water. So whenever there is surface water like rivers or the lakes are present, whenever there is increasing of temperature or the drought like situation, that will lead to evaporation of water, but it is not the case in this groundwater, right? So for the groundwater we will be having a very high storage capacity, and this groundwater, it is more resilient into the effects of this climate change. So we're talking about recently international conference on the groundwater. It mainly came up with one event. It mainly said that groundwater, it is a key to the sustainable development goals, and United Nations Water Summit on groundwater that is going to be held in December 2022. So they are mainly part of global initiatives, and they are mainly highlighting the significance of this groundwater in sustainable development, right? And if you're talking about how much amount of the water it is extracted from the groundwater, so annual groundwater extraction is like 248.69 billion cubic meters, and India is one of the largest users of this groundwater in the world, and almost 89% of groundwater which mainly extracted, and that water which is mainly used for irrigation and as well as domestic and as well as industrial use. So if we're talking about extraction value of this groundwater, so according to the Central Groundwater Board, the annual groundwater withdrawal is considered to be safe whenever it is within the limits of 70%. But in India, we are going for more than 89%. So it is one of cause of concern. So we're talking about extraction of this groundwater. It is also differ. It is also differ with the location. For example, if you are talking about some areas, they will be using 63 to 58% of water, groundwater. But some areas like Punjab, Rajasthan, Haryana, Delhi, Chandigarh, Himachal Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, they have crossed the 70% of mark. So whenever there is increasing of high level of extraction of this groundwater, so there will be also leads to some quality concerns, right? So there might be increasing of some concentration of minerals and as well as some metals like fluorides, iron, salinity. Salinity is also increasing, nitrates, arsenic combinations. So they are some major problems on the health of the people. So in this context, we need to focus on changing of approach here. So whatever the approach that is existing now, so we are mainly dealing with surface water and as well as groundwater independently. So we need to come up with a unified approach. So apart from that, so if we are talking about Mihir Shah Committee 2016, which mainly proposed the Central Water Commission and as well as Central Groundwater Board, they could be united. Okay. So here Mihir Shah Committee, which mainly says that we need to go for unifying of this Central Water Commission and as well as Central Groundwater Board, such that we will be having an integrated approach which mainly deals with both of the surface water and as well as groundwater. And we need to also focus on local level planning covering water resources. Okay, we need to also focus on rainwater, surface water, soil water, groundwater, etc. And if you're talking about groundwater, surface water, and as well as we will be having, whenever there is a groundwater and surface water, they are intervening the landscape from the part of matrix. Okay, and we can focus on the vegetation system as well, and we can also have some terrestrial life resides, etc. Okay, and in this way we can go for reconnecting or re-establishing the connections between this surface and as well as groundwater. So we need to focus on both governance and as well as management as well. Okay, especially we need to incorporate this local people participation, and we need to come up with the proper estimations process like large mass aquifer mapping and as well as linking of aquifers with river basin or watershed boundaries, and we need to focus on hydrogeomorphology analysis, and even we need to go for land uses and land uses techniques as well. So in this way we can conserve this groundwater. So we can also go for linking of this cropping patterns with the cropping intensity with the groundwater availability as well. Okay, so actually this groundwater, it is not an individual problem, but it is a community problem. So it is one of the socio-ecological challenge that we are facing. So here we need a technical, economic, legal and governance remediation such that we can also ensure there will be the active participation of this public as well. Okay, in this way we can maintain the groundwater balance at village or watershed level. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. Title says the key takeaways of UNEP report on noise pollution. So recently United Nations Environment Program which mainly released one report. So this report which is mainly focusing on noise pollution as well as wildfires. So now we are going to see the highlights of that report. So this article will be important regarding your GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. And this report will become handy whenever you are writing environment and ecology related answers. So if we are talking about context, mainly says that a February report which mainly commissioned by UNEP, that is United Nations Environment Program. So it is mainly focused on environmental challenges which is mainly posed by noise and as well as wildfires and disruption of biological rhythms of plants, animals, and it also focused on ecological cycles. So these are some important areas of focus. The first one is noise, second one is wildfires, and third one is disruption of ecological rhythms of plants, animals, and this one is ecological cycles. Right. And now let's try to see the key highlights of this report regarding this urban noise pollution. So noise pollution is nothing but whenever we are having unwanted, prolonged and high level sounds from the road traffic or railways or leisure activities that will have some negative impact on our human health and well-being. Right. And chronic annoyance, because of this chronic noise pollution, so we can also experience sleep disturbances. Especially I want to share one experience with you. So actually our home, it is mainly beside roadside. So even at the night times also during 2:30 or 3:30, we will be getting some horns during this time. So because of this, we do not have a proper sleep at that time. Okay, so because of this chronic annoyance and because of the sleep disturbances that mainly caused by traffic, that can result severe heart diseases, and will be also having some impact on this negative impacts on the metabolic disorders, because actually we will be having a circadian rhythms, right? So in this circadian rhythms, what happen whenever there is no proper sleep means it will be having some impact on this metabolic pathways, right? So because of this sleep disturbances, especially we can see metabolic disturbances or disorders even when you are very young. So this will be also affecting the elderly people the most. And if you're talking about wildfires, so the trends are mainly increasing, that led to there is a very high range or high number of forest fires that are mainly recorded. And even today's paper also says that new fire which mainly bursted in the Sarsika Tiger Reserve, right? So the trend towards more dangerous fire weather conditions, they are likely to increase, okay, because of increasing of concentration of these greenhouse gases. So because of this increasing of this greenhouse gases emission, that also led to global warming. So because of this global warming, actually in the summer season, this plants will be shedding of their leaves and they will be becoming very dry. And because of whenever the wind it is moving, that will lead to the fire like incidents. And because of these plants which are mainly lost their leaves and they become dry, so they will easily lead to the spreading of this fire, right? So because of increasing of these greenhouse gases in our atmosphere, that led to increasing of risk of this wildfires. And the climate change can also prompt extreme wildfires, and that will be also generating lightning that can ignite the other fires as well. So this is one of the hazardous feedback. And next one is, so whenever we are having such extreme events, they are very much disastrous for the human health, and not only human health but also environment and ecology. And next one is wildfires. They have also been more common in the savanna ecosystem, and that mainly affected over 1/4 of species in the savanna system. And as well as this wildfire which is also responsible for the air pollution. So these are some important reports or highlights of the report. So if we are talking about recommendations, so recommendation of this report here is, we need to go for adopting of indigenous fire management techniques, and we need to focus on this preventive approach rather than the reactive approach. And we need to go for enhancing of firefighting capabilities, and we need to strengthen our community resilience building programs, and we need to focus on long range weather forecasting, and we can go for using of information from satellites and as well as ground based radars, lighting detection, etc. So these are some important recommendations. And now let us try to talk about next topic is regarding NFC, that is near field communication technique. Okay, near field communication technology. So this article is very important from your science and technology and even environment and economy. So from economy it is important because now Google Pay, which is mainly using this NFC technology, so this will be important from economy. And I am talking about technology, so it is important from your science and technology. So these two which mainly comes under your GS paper 3. And how you can expect a question from this topic. So recently this NFC technology is in use, so where it can be used, that is regarding payment methods, right? So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So why it is in use? Because Google Pay. So in every mobile you will be having Google Pay, right? So Google Pay has recently launched a new feature in India. So it is mainly focusing on tap to pay for UPI. So this is a new feature, that is tap to pay for UPI in collaboration with Pine Labs. And in this feature they are mainly using this NFC technology, that is near field communication technology. NFC it is nothing but near field communication technology, and this functionality will allow users with this near field technology to carry out transactions just by tapping their phones on any Pine Labs Android point of sale terminal across the country. Okay, across the country we will be having this Pine Labs Android point of sale terminals. So there we can go for easy transactions here. So if we talk about details regarding this new near field communication, that is NFC technology. So it is a very short range wireless connectivity technology. It is a wireless connectivity technology, and here this technology which mainly enables this NFC enabled services to communicate with each other, and that will also helpful for the transfer of information very quickly, and it's also very easy method, right? And this NFC technology which has a wide range of applications. So it is having a wide range of applications. For example, driving payment services. Actually, it is mainly used in contactless banking cards, or we can also use to generate contactless tickets for public transport. Okay, so this NFC technology which has a wide range of applications. So it is mainly used in driving payment services, and even that can be used at the contactless banking cards, or it can be also helpful for creating or generating of contactless tickets for public transport. And this Google Pay, it will now which also allow the user with UPI accounts to make the payments just by tapping their NFC enabled Android smartphones. Okay, and it can be available on any Pine Labs Android POS terminals. So this is about this topic, and now let's try to see next topic. It is regarding IPCC report. IPCC report which mainly talks going down on the wire. So this article is important from your environment and ecology, which mainly comes under your GS paper 3. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that the latest report of IPCC, that is Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Actually this IPCC, it is a United Nations backed science which is mainly meant to show the paths by which the world can stay within the temperature limits agreed in the 2015 Paris Accord. Okay, so this IPCC, that is Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which mainly came up with a report regarding the temperature limits which mainly agreed in Paris Accord of 2015. So now let us try to see what are the highlights. So if you see details, it mainly says that, so this agreement which mainly aims to cap global warming, at 1.5 degrees centigrade this century. Okay, we need to maintain or this agreement which mainly says that we need to cap this global warming at 1.5 degrees centigrade in this century. But the temperatures already which are more than 1.1 degree centigrade, which is higher when we are comparing with this pre-industrial baseline. So if you're talking about regarding India especially, India has emerged as a key voice which mainly pushing for recognition in the report. In this report, actually the India which is mainly trying to say that developing countries, they have contributed very less or very smaller share of carbon dioxide emissions. Okay, actually industrialized nations, that is developed nations, they already contributed large amount, but developing countries, they contributed for a very smaller share. So therefore now India should not be required to make a same steep cuts. So India, which is mainly dependent on mainly thermal energy for electricity, for example you are using coal and even fossil fuels here. Okay, India, which is mainly dependent on coal and also wants poor countries to receive significantly more financial support from these developed countries regarding technological transfer for this climate change adoption here. But if you see other countries which are exporting this oil like Saudi Arabia, they mainly says that, so whenever fossil fuels, they are mainly used actually, so these fossil fuels, they are mainly needed for the decades to come and to phase out them too quickly, which will be affecting the poor nations. So this is a thing which mainly said by this Saudi Arabia. So now let us try to see yesterday's questions. So first question is regarding policy, that is Ashoka's policy of Dhamma. So first statement here is the policy of Dhamma was an attempt to solve some of complex problems that a complex society faced. Yes, of course. And Ashoka aimed at promoting Buddhism to the policy by this policy of Dhamma. But he didn't use this policy of Dhamma for the promoting of Buddhism. So correct option will be 1 only. And next question is regarding Buddhist rock cut architecture. We will be seeing stupas will be there. We will be seeing viharas and chaityas. So So these are the three important architecture of this Buddhism, right? So here it is asking about this viharas and chaityas. So viharas is a shrine cell with a votive stupa which is placed at center, and if you see this is the vihara, sorry, this is the chaitya, and at center we will be having one stupa. On this we will be having some motive, but here it is not vihara, it is chaitya. So it is chaitya. It is nothing but we can say it is a prayer hall. So chaityas are the shrine cell with a votive stupa placed at center. So it is not vihara. And if you are talking about viharas are nothing but the place where monks will be having their residence. Okay, monks place where they are taking rest, they are called as viharas. So if you say this is vihara, they will be having certain cells. In those cells we will be having stone like bed and pillow which is also made up of stone, and there will be different cells which are present like this, and here these Buddhist monks they can take the rest, and viharas they are residence of monks, and chaityas are the prayer halls. So correct option here is neither one nor two. And now let us try to see today's questions. The first one is regarding Amaravati School of Art, and second question it is regarding, so which of the following belongs to which age? Okay, so these are the two questions. Try to read the questions and give me the correct options for these questions in the comment box. And before seeing this newspaper PDF, I want to make a small announcement on this platform. So we are coming up with mains answer writing practice course. So this is a 1 year course. So in this course, we are mainly focusing on weekly targets. We will be giving you the weekly targets. So based on that weekly targets, daily one question will be given to you. And on Sunday, there will be essay or case study practice. And I will ensure you that within 1 year, you are going to complete your entire GS1, GS2, GS3 and as well as GS4 within 1 year. And you are going to write at least one answer based on each and every topic which is present in your syllabus. Okay, and actually there is some technical issue that we are facing in our website regarding OTPs. So if you want to contact us, please contact us on this number 8074765513. So this is also the WhatsApp number. If you have any queries, you can message me on this number. And if you want to talk to me directly, you can call on this number. So apart from that, we are also ready to come up with this pen drive course for entire foundational course of 2023. So we are going to teach each and every subtopic which is present in your syllabus, and we ensure your conceptual clarity, and we also provide you one-to-one mentorship. And if you take this foundational course of this 2023, so you will be getting prelims test series of that year for free. This 1 year course, and next one is mains answer writing course. It is also free of cost if you are taking this foundational course for 2023. And if you have any doubts or any queries, so please contact us on this number 8074765513. So now let us try to see today's Hindu's PDF. So this is today's Hindu PDF, and the date here is April 4, 2022, and this is Delhi edition. So here first article says that no trust vote dismissed. So Imran mainly gets Pakistan parliament dissolved. So here you need to focus on what is this no trust vote. And here next one is WHO pauses co-vaccine supply via United Nations bodies. So you have to focus on this co-vaccine. And if you move forward, please leave the city page, and you can see another fire break out at Sarsika. So you have to focus on what is this wildfires and what are the measures that we can take under this whenever there is forest fire that is seen, that will come to your disaster management. And here you have to see the location of the Sarsika Tiger Reserve in your map. That is important from your geography. And if you move forward, if you see this editorial page, I discussed about this AFSPA. So yes, there is one article which is written by this M.K. Narayan regarding this Ukraine peace plan. So you can easily go through that. And I discussed about this marital rape. And there is one article regarding this capital spending. So you can refer this already in the budget session. I discussed that topic. And I discussed about this groundwater issue. And if you move further in this text and context, I discussed about this UNEP report and as well as this NFC technology. And if you move further in this news page number 10, you can see there is one article regarding this uniform civil code. So let me know which article in Indian Constitution which mainly talks about this Uniform Civil Code, whether it is in Fundamental Rights or DPSP also. Let me know in comment box. So you have to see this article once. And there is one article regarding this Indo-Pacific region. Engagement with Indo-Pacific region go back several centuries. And here we need to focus on importance of this Indo-Pacific region. I already explained that in number of times. And next article, it is regarding first case of infection from diabetes medication in India. So actually this article is mainly talking about this SGLT2 drug. So actually, as you all know, diabetes, it is one of the important disease that we are mainly facing, and we are also seeing there is increasing of burden because of this diabetes that is seen in India. So especially we will be having type 1, type 2 and as well as gestational diabetes. So here what happened, whenever we are using this drug for this type 2 diabetes mellitus, there is some serious infection that is seen in genitals and also area which is present around the genitals. So because of this, now CDSC, that is Central Drug Standard Control Organization, which mainly requested the state drug controllers to direct manufacturers of this SGLT2 inhibitor class drugs. For example, canagliflozin and as well as dapagliflozin, gapagliflozin and empagliflozin under the jurisdiction of warnings. Okay, and actually this SGLT2 inhibitor, it is a dipeptyl peptidase 4 inhibitor. Okay, so this is about this drug. And if you move further, here you can see Taliban order ban on poppy cultivation. So actually Taliban's economy is mainly dependent on this poppy cultivation. Now here Taliban, they mainly came up with the order to ban this poppy cultivation. So let us see whether this cultivation will be stopped or not. So if it is stopped, it means it will be well and good for India as well, because most of these drugs which are mainly transported or drug trafficking that is seen in India as well, especially in this Punjab, Haryana regions. And regarding this IPC report, I had discussion. So these are some important articles that appeared in this today's newspaper. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to Rathod's IAS Academy and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. Thank you so much.